What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from Wolf's Ridge Brewing, and they're out of Columbus, Ohio, and this is their Daybreak. So they're calling this one a coffee vanilla cream ale that comes in at 5% alcohol by volume, 14 IBUs at the time of review. And this can is just over 3 months old, and I picked this one up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio on a recent day trip to Ohio. So in the description box, I'll post a link to the beer haul video I did that contains all the goodies I picked up on said trip. And the reason I picked up this one is because if I had a beer bucket list, this would most definitely be on that list. And that's because I saw a review of this one back in 2016 from a friend of mine and former beer tuber, Johnny, at the now defunct Crafty Beer Reviews, and he loved this one. And I am a sucker for cream ales in general, whether we're talking about Jenny cream ale or a craft cream ale like this one. I love trying them, and I think the coffee vanilla combination in cream ales work incredibly well, and I've heard really good things about not only this beer, but the base beer and all the variants and whatnot. So when I saw it, I was like, I have to give it a go. They have a little spiel here on the side. We'll read slight tasting notes, but they're very generic. It says, confusing to the senses in the best way possible, Daybreak's clarity and golden color belly the smooth coffee presence inside, brewed with local one-line coffee and rotating house roast and the finest of vanilla beans. They also mentioned all the different awards they won at the Great American Beer Festival. They've won the gold medal in 2020, the silver in 2019 and 2021 for a coffee beer, and then the World Beer Cup, they won the gold medal in 2023, so this past year, and then the silver medal in 2022, and again in the coffee beer category. So we're going to give it a pour here and see what we got going on. Now, shout out to another good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Curtis, who said that his favorite when it comes to like this, I guess, series of beers, a series of beers is the base. I think it's called Clear Sky. It's just a cream ale. He said it's his favorite. Like I said, they do other variants. They do a cinnamon toast crunch one. I think they also have an orange creamsicle. They got a bunch of them. I'm using this glass just because I like Fifth Frame. Shout out to them. Ooh, now look at that pour. Do a little bit of a cheat there. Throw this over here. Now that looks beautiful in the glass. Now, should have I poured it all the way to the top? Probably not, but I'm going to drink the rest of this. No matter if I like it or not, I'm still going to drink the rest of this. But anyway, that has a beautiful clarity. You can see my hand through it. Hopefully you can see my ugly mug through it. Yeah, it has a golden yellow color, straw yellow color, beautiful clarity, a finger of a bright white, super creamy looking head. Looks like a beautiful cream ale, if I'm being honest with you. It kind of looks like a little bit slightly hazier Jenny cream ale, honestly. Jenny's maybe a little bit darker and a little bit more, again, the clarity's a little bit better, but it is what it is. Let's get a nose. Yeah, so I love coffee cream ales. Last year, I reviewed a beer from Carton. What was the name of it? Regular coffee. It was a 12% Imperial coffee cream ale, and it was fucking amazing. It made my top 23 beers of 2023 list. I think it was in the top 10. It was absolutely phenomenal beer. I think coffee, and more specifically coffee vanilla in cream ale, is awesome. Ballast Point had Come Before the Storm going back 6, 7, 8 years ago. That was awesome as well. This just smells great. It has a sweeter coffee note, like you kind of put coffee and cream together. A slight like graininess from the malt. It just kind of smells like cold brew coffee, or like an iced coffee with like a you know, a lot of places will put like a blast of flavoring, hazelnut, vanilla, caramel. This has like that vanilla kind of blast you'd have in it. What I like about it, it's just over 3 months old, so it's not like super duper fresh, but fresh enough for a beer like this. The coffee, while present, is not like overwhelming. It definitely is the predominant note, but it's not like crushing the palate, and it's kind of more of like a light to medium roasted coffee. But man, it smells so fucking good. It's very simplistic. Maybe a touch of lemon too, like a little bit of lemon zest. It just smells like I'm gonna like crush this after like I'm gonna take a sip and half of it's gonna be gone. We'll see. Anyway, cheers everyone. Listen, if I'm going for a 5% cream ale, this is something that would be right in my wheelhouse. The coffee and vanilla, while noticeable, are not over the top. You still get that base cream ale, which is nice. It's a nicely done cream ale based on what I'm tasting. Now I wish, shout out to Curtis, I wish that I would have picked up the Clear Sky. The reason I didn't was I didn't want to buy a bunch of beers. I had a bunch of beers in the fridge. Probably should have done a side-by-side. Next time I'm in Ohio, I'm going to buy the Clear Sky and any kind of variants of this one I can find, because I can see what he's saying. The base of that first sip seems like it's really nicely and well done, and kind of holds up to the adjuncts. Let's go body mouthfeel. Body's like lower side of medium, approaching medium, so it's nice for 5%. The mouthfeel, it's really smooth on the palate, but it has a nice crispness to it. It's like moderately carbonated, very refreshing. It's relatively clean too. Like, it's such an easy drinking beer, like a couple sips and it's just like, yeah, it's just real refreshing. The taste though, the first thing that hits me is the coffee. Again, it's a very, I'd say like, again, light roast into like a medium roasted coffee. Right after that's where I get the base cream ale. It has this nice like graininess, like a little bit of like it's more, I'd say like a biscuity, more so biscuity than bready, but it has a nice, just like grainy, biscuity kind of malt base. There's a lemon zest into like a slight like, yeah, I'd say lemon zest into like a slight just generic lemony flavor that kind of hits me midway through the palate. That's really nice, and it kind of brightens and livens up the palate. There might be a touch of like fruitiness too from the coffee, maybe like a slight berry. And then about 2/3 of the way through the palate, the vanilla hits. And again, it's this nice smooth kind of vanilla, kind of almost creaminess. And the coffee dives underneath the palate and hits me on the back of the palate. So you get coffee at the beginning, then you get more of like a coffee vanilla on the back of the palate. It finishes semi to full on dry. There's a very mild bitterness here. Cream ales aren't all that bitter to begin with. There's really no distinct hop character here. If anything, like maybe a generic, like grassy or a earthy kind of character, but you really don't pick up on it. I'm left with a nice, like, again, vanilla cold brew or vanilla iced coffee feeling on the back of the palate, but it's beery. And I know that sounds stupid, but when you do beer reviews like this, so, at least for myself, in so many reviews, I'll just, start talking too much about the adjuncts and not the base beer. And in this case, there is an underlying from front to back, cream ale / lighter, just generic ale presence that it's beer. So while I'm saying, it tastes like a vanilla, iced coffee or vanilla cold brew, it's in beer form though. And that's what I think they do extremely well with this one. Do I think a lot of people are going to pick this one up and just, scream from the rooftops, go nuts about it? Probably not. But here's the thing. This is really well done, a really nice beer, and I'm digging it. This would be a nice fridge beer where I want something with a little bit more flavor, but still low ABV. If I was in the mood for a cream ale or a coffee beer or something like that, I'm just like, hey, I'm going to grab this. It's 5%, and I'd probably drink this in about 5-10 minutes. Like, I could just hammer this out, and I'm not going to, because I kind of want to savor it, because I only bought a single can. I should have bought an entire 6-pack, but I only saw one can on the shelf, so who knows if they have, had they had any more at Red Wine and Brew. I'd imagine they did. But anyway, 5%, you really can't taste it. Just really well done. What stops this from getting a super, super high score for me? Listen, I'm going to say stylistically, what they're going for, a coffee vanilla cream ale, is extremely well done. But I got to be honest with my personal rating as well. But I would say I'm going to give this 2 ratings. For a coffee vanilla cream ale, so an adjuncted cream ale, I'm going to give Daybreak from Wolf's Ridge, I'm going to give this like a low 4.75. I'll go 4.65. 4.65 out of 5 for what this is supposed to be. So really extremely well done as far as like stylistically speaking. For my personal preference, I'm going to give this a high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.3. I think that's where this one lands. Definitely one of the better, non-imperial adjuncted cream ales I've had. I think it works extremely well, but I also think this is going to be one of those beers that are hit or miss for many out there. Put it this way, if you like cream ales and you like coffee, vanilla kind of, the flavor combination, or you like, coffee, cream ales in general, I don't see how you would dislike this one. The only thing I could see people being a little bit apprehensive about picking this one up or then drinking it and being slightly disappointed, it doesn't have a ton of like intensity to the flavors. It's more subtle and subdued, but I appreciate that in a 5% beer like this. It'll allow me to session this one, where if it was too intense with the coffee or the vanilla and too over the top, I think I'd be one and done with this one. As is, I could easily drink, 3-4 cans of this. I really could. So, it's a well done beer, and kudos to Wolf's Ridge for this series in general. I need to drink more, going forward, so I'm going to be on the lookout for it. So yeah, again, 4.3 out of 5 for me as far as Daybreak goes, and 4.65 for the style in my opinion. And I'd imagine I'll look this up on tap, and I'll probably be like a 3.9 or 3.8 or 3.7 or fucking 2.7. I don't know. Why do I always reference on tap? Because I do not like the ratings on there for a lot of beers. Anyway, price point availability. I paid $2.09 for that can, so I'd imagine that 6-packs were in the $11.99 range at the store. I did look at their website, and It was $11.99 for a six-pack, so that's $2 a can all day, every day. And availability, here's the thing: I went to their website. I don't remember if they have a beer finder or not. If they do, then go to their website, check it out. Outside of that, I just know that they're in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, and I picked it up in Ohio. Outside of that, I have no idea if they get out of Ohio. I hope they do. We don't see them here in the Buffalo, New York area, but maybe at some point in the future we will do so. So anyway, if you've had this one before, if you've had anything from Wolf's Ridge in general, whether it's a part of their Clear Sky series, whether it's any of the variants like this, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it, because I think this brewery is one that I would really enjoy if they were local to me, just because they give props to the cream ale, and not a lot of breweries do that. So anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one, cheers, and we knock a beer off my mythical bucket list, my beer bucket list, that I might do a live stream at some point and actually compile like an actual, because I there's probably a lot of beers on my beer bucket list that I don't have one. I've never sat down and did it, so I think it would be fun to do, but this one is no longer on it. Cheers.